The Queen hosted a dinner for Commonwealth leaders and their spouses tonight in the Buckingham Palace Picture Gallery.Aides said it was the first time she had ever hosted a dinner in the picture gallery during her 66-year reign, although other members of the royal family have. At tonight's black tie dinner, the 130 guests enjoyed a three-course meal washed down with wines from England, New Zealand, Australia, and Cyprus. Prime Minister Theresa May was one of the first to arrive to the dinner, wearing a black evening gown with red patent heels, and was accompanied by her husband Philip May. Other notable guests included Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who earlier admitted he'd be missing the royal wedding next month, saying, "I of course wish them the very best, but I have important responsibilities elsewhere." The lavish dinner is ahead of anointing the Queen's successor on Friday, as she told foreign dignitaries earlier today of her sincere wish that they pick Prince Charles to take over as leader of the Commonwealth. One by one luxury cars arrived to the palace, each dropping off a foreign leader in black tie attire. The Queen and Prince Charles will receive Commonwealth heads of government and their spouses in the blue drawing room, before moving to the picture gallery for the night's meal, followed by a speech from Her Majesty. Normally she would use the ballroom as a banqueting venue, but that was used today for the opening of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, often the venue for royal drinks receptions. The gallery was created by John Nash as part of his transformation of Buckingham House into a palace for George IV from 1825 and designed as a setting for his art collection. The 47-meter room contains works from many periods, almost all acquired by one of four great picture collectors, George IV, his father George III and grandfather Frederick, Prince of Wales, as well as perhaps the great royal picture collector, Charles I. The first wine served, Windsor Great Park Vineyard 2014 English quality sparkling wine, is a commercial operation on the Crown Estate, not the royal family's own vineyard. Every guest had their own butter dish. Among the china used was a green server dessert service from the 1790s made of soft paste porcelain for Louis XVI. It was purchased by George IV when he was Prince Regent, and the service was used at Carlton House in the 1820s. Prince Harry and his bride-to-be Meghan Markle attended a women's empowerment reception hosted by the Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson. Prince Harry is expected to join the dinner later on. The morning's spectacle of pomp and pageantry saw guests from around the world welcomed with a guard of honor, with flag-bearers displaying the flags of the Commonwealth's 53 member states. Before the dinner, Her Majesty, accompanied by Charles, hosted a lunch reception for new heads of government, who have never attended CHOGM before. She chatted with the Prime Minister of the Bahamas Hubert Minnis and Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. The Prince of Wales was seen talking with Prime Minister of Pakistan Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. In a highly unusual move earlier in the day, the Queen, who turns 92 on Saturday, made clear her thoughts on succession, as she said she hoped her son would be able to carry on the important work started by my father in 1949. The position is not hereditary, but Prince Charles, who is also the heir to the thrones of 16 Commonwealth nations, is expected to get the nod, despite unease among ardent Republicans such as Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. Downing Street said on Monday that a decision on whether Charles should succeed his mother as Commonwealth head was expected from the heads of state on Friday, and reports have stated the mood is Charles will get their backing. Born out of the former British Empire, the voluntary organisation, covering a third of the world's population, typically focuses on development and democracy, but is placing greater attention on boosting trade. During the 2 days of talks, the group is hoping to agree an ocean governance charter, an agenda for trade and investment, and a declaration on tackling cybercrime. Given its highly diverse membership, if agreements can be struck within the Commonwealth, they can likely achieve wider support. At the last Commonwealth Summit in 2015, leaders struck a deal on climate change that helped pave the way for the Paris Agreement days afterwards. Friday's sessions take place at Windsor Castle, west of London, where the leaders are left entirely alone to discuss whatever they wish. On Thursday morning, the streets around Buckingham Palace were cordoned off, As motorcades carried guests into the forecourt for the opening of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, the royals were out in force for the opening ceremony, with the Queen and Charles joined by the Duchess of Cornwall, the Duke of Cambridge, Prince Harry, the Duke of York, the Princess Royal, the Countess of Wessex and the Duke of Kent, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent and Princess Alexandra. Queen Elizabeth, who has been the group's symbolic figurehead since 1952, gave up long-haul travel in support of the biennial summit in 2013, and the 2020 gathering is set to be held in Malaysia. In her opening speech on Thursday morning, Queen Elizabeth spoke of her own extraordinary journey as head of the Commonwealth, which started under her father King George VI with the London Declaration of 1949. She said, "When I meet the young leaders of this century, I meet my own lifelong commitment made in Africa in 1947 at the age of 21. As another birthday approaches this week, I'm reminded of the extraordinary journey I've been on and how much good has been achieved. It remains a great pleasure and honour to serve you as head of the Commonwealth and to observe with pride and satisfaction that this is a flourishing network. It is my sincere wish that the Commonwealth will continue to offer stability and continuity for future generations, and will decide that one day the Prince of Wales will carry on the important work started by my father in 1949. By continuing to treasure and reinvigorate our associations and activities, I believe we will secure a prosperous and more sustainable world for those who follow us. A world where the Commonwealth's generosity of spirit can bring its gentle touch of healing and hope to all." The biennial Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting is being held in London for the first time in 2 decades. But Britain's relationship with the Commonwealth has been clouded by diplomatic missteps and the legacy of empire. May had to apologise this week after it emerged that some people who came to the UK from Caribbean decades ago had been refused medical care in Britain or threatened with deportation because they could not produce paperwork to show their right to residence. The Commonwealth is officially committed to democracy and human rights, but its rights record is mixed. Many look with pride on the organization's role in the 1970s and 80s in trying to end apartheid in South Africa. But many Commonwealth nations have been plagued by corruption or destabilized by coups. Zimbabwe's former president, Robert Mugabe, pulled his country out of the group in 2003 after it was suspended for widespread human rights abuses. Gambia quit in 2013, calling the Commonwealth a neo-colonial institution. It rejoined earlier this year. Still, the Commonwealth provides support for democracy and corruption fighting, and gives its smaller members the chance to be part of an international network. Attempts to expand the club beyond former British colonies have had modest success, with Mozambique and Rwanda joining in recent years. The survival of the Commonwealth owes much to the commitment of the Queen, who has visited almost every member country, often multiple times, over her 66-year reign.